All right, welcome back, Caffaro Way. We got a little carpool karaoke kind of edition. A little special guest, my brother, EJ Caffaro.
Hey guys.
What's up, EJ? EJ is not very one to be on shows, past recordings, but I begged him to come on and give us a little background about the story of Caffaro Shoes and how it came to be and how this beautiful child came to this world.
Only because of you I'm here. You know that, right?
No way.
Yeah, it was born from really just trying to create something unique and different. And what came from that one desire, really just trying to understand what was out there already and what is something that just would change, make it different for a lot of the people that are wearing shoes all day, especially the dress shoes. You want them to look nice, you want to be sleek, but there just wasn't a ton of comfort. And then the ones that were comfortable had zero style. And so really when, we searched all around, I said it has to be unique and it has to be different. That was the priority. Come to find out, when we toured all around Italy, we toured around the locations that we originally wanted it to be established. But as we heard more and more about this little Mecca it's called Alicante, Spain, and they're just known for their leather shoe making. The second that I walked into the factory, I saw an artisan who was making the shoes, but also just hand painting one of the pairs of shoes. And I asked, Juan was his name, and I asked him what it would be, Juan, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him, what is he doing? And he said, it's patina. And said it's somewhat of a dying art form because it's just so expensive and so time consuming to create. Instantly, that's just when I knew we found at least the factory and the place where we wanted to make the shoes. All the rest of it was just a process.
So hold on, let's go back a little bit. So has fashion always been a part of your life? Is that something that you've always put together, loved? I mean, how did this come about?
I mean, it's always been, you look good, you feel good, and fashion's always been a priority in our family. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I can remember I was dressed up in a bow tie and had a button-up shirt, and we looked the part. And so that was just some people don't enjoy it. I actually, from the very beginning, loved style fashion and just really latched onto it.
I think for me, my sophomore, junior year, I really didn't get into fashion yet. You guys would make fun of me wearing inside-out hoodies.
That's true.
I think it's just because I fully didn't mature into my body and I didn't know. And then I think my senior year, I finally got into that, wow, whatever you put on and whatever you dress, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like a different person and makes you have that confidence. And I feel like it gave me
whoever you want to be, right?
Yeah. You dress for the role, the opportunity that you want. And I think that has really drove home into us. Dad always had good style. Like you said, you always wore bow ties. And I think I got on the bandwagon a little bit later. You always dressed really well in the business aspect. And I was just more business casual for a really long time.
Which is great. I mean, people got to own what they love, but I believe there's value to being able to step into your own and understand what type of fashion and who you are. I think it's an expression of who you are, right? No matter what style it is.
So have you seen dressing elevate your career, move you forward? I know it's not just that, but have you seen it in kind of capacities where you've gotten a better position or better opportunities or the sell because of how you were dressed?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up the statement with you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I can honestly say that I've had to say less words in meetings because of the way I've presented myself and the attire that I've chosen to wear. And when I walk into those rooms, I believe credibility is a lot higher than it would normally be in a different circumstance. And it's allowed me to sit at tables that I normally wouldn't be able to sit at and have conversations that I would have never dreamed of having.
I mean, I've always heard that it's command presence. Right?
Yeah.
When you walk into a room and how you look, and you're almost commanding, almost respect in a way. And it's not downplaying of what people, if they're not dressed in a different way, but you want to be able to hold yourself to a higher standard. And I've seen many times as I've worked with EJ in different companies along the way where EJ is dressed up to the nine and everybody looks in and he's like, who's this guy walking in? And I just smile, and like everyone like shifts in their chair, kind of gets more into attention. And like, this guy means business. And I think that's what it does. It just means you're serious because you're looking the part.
Yeah, I can honestly say that it's only benefited me. I can never say one circumstance where it put me in a different position than that.
I always thought too, in a sense where like if I'm overly dressed, then I'm going to stand out. And that kind of like put me in a mindset where it's like, well, I don't want to be that person that just like is trying too hard. Remember what you told me when you said after that?
Remind me.
No, you're just saying like, Johnny, it doesn't matter if you are the best dressed person there. People are going to love you or hate you, but they're still going to respect you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is you do you. And what I like is if you can be around individuals who are confident enough in themselves that you can respect them for who they are and they can show mutual respect for wherever you're showing up at, then I think that's valuable. And so I would just say, yeah, people are going to think what they think and they're going to make assumptions. And some of those could be that he makes way too much money or he's just taking advantage of people, or I'm sure those could cross the mind. But others, if they really knew, it's just something that's important to me. And I've always had something, deep down inside that I just really, and I love it. It's a passion.
Love that. So now let's get back to Caffaro Shoes. You found the manufacturer, you found the site, you're really excited. This is something that you really wanted to do. And what was next? What did you have to create?
Yeah, when we found the patina, next was trying to create the style with the comfort. And it was a long process, to be honest. And we had to spend lots of time, lots of really good triumphs and lots of really failures at the same time. Like, we've designed some pretty crappy shoes along the way, but we've also designed some pretty cool ones.
I'll own that. I've designed some really bad shoes. I can market and I can create stories, but I can't design shoes.
Your high school came out, right?
Yeah. So then you created these, you had to go concept first before you'd go to market, right? You had to create a website, a logo, a brand. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, it was, if you're going to sell something premium, and I know a lot of individuals and companies, that's where they want to make sure that they're at. And so that's something that we desired. And we wanted people to have an experience also at the same time. And so when we thought about the logo, especially when you put your last name on it, I didn't realize how much more meaningful it would be. Us utilizing our last name and putting them on the shoes, it just became that much more personal. And so, I've had some really great community around me that was willing to support in different ways and different aspects, who are just tremendous professionals. So, there's a group called Goal. Chris Mann and his partner Chris also kind of caught the vision of Caffaro, and they do design work across the state, but also around the globe, and for some pretty high-end organizations. And they were able to just kind of catch our vision and understand just the premium footwear and the logos and the typography and the type of image we were trying to portray. And so it was a really fun chance for me to work with a friend, for us to work with a friend, and ultimately kind of come up with the seal, some of the branding, and definitely the color palette. The gold was a necessity.
So when you put this business together, it was more so of a hobby. It was an excitement. Yeah. It was just something that you loved, that you wanted to get to do. Like, did it teach you a lot about how to create a business and how to deal with business? And
man, did it ever. Yeah, you've seen it through our interactions when we work together, and we've been able to build something, but from understanding taxes and understanding your ability to get product shipped and the cost, and also the communication with factories, it's just constant. It taught me a lot of fun principles, but also just, you can't build something overnight. It's going to take time, consistency, and a really good product that your customers believe in.
Yeah, when you presented the idea, I was so excited, and it was like, wow, we got something with our last name on it. I think that's going to be so fun, a lot more pride in it.
Yeah.
And then the industry that I was in the medical industry,
that's where it took off, man.
It was a blast. I think we created a guerrilla marketing campaign where surgeons and medical sales reps were all on board because everybody wears dress shoes. And it was really cool to start seeing the impact that you created here with Caffaro Shoes without having a beautiful website, without having a beautiful logo, without having created these really unique style shoes where you nailed it. Comfort and style is so important because I've had 3 hip replacements, and I've told you that any shoe that I had, I couldn't wear for any longer than 6 hours or my hips would be killing me.
Yep.
So for you to create that style with that comfort, it's been amazing.
Well, I mean, their company is only as good as how you can market it and actually move your product and get it in front of people. And I mean, that's where you, Johnny, are phenomenal and have so many connections that blows my mind. But then also that you're able to help people, right? And I think they genuinely feel and understand that. And so without your energy, passion, and then also just network in the medical device field, we wouldn't be where we're at today. That's for sure.
So what are we doing now? What is the excitement around Caffaro Shoes? What are you most excited about? What can we do to bring people more alongside in the journey?
Yeah. So right now it's always been a direct to consumer business. We're going straight to our customers. We wanted to control the experience, and we wanted to make sure that it was top quality that our customers were experiencing, and we wanted to control that. What I'm most excited about now is we've got a critical mass of customers that we've validated what they want and how they like it. And so now we're going to go to see if we can get into some big retail, some wholesale, and start getting these shoes into more hands of people so they can experience kind of the design and comfort. The thing I hear most and what excites me the most is when people wear the shoes, they say, be prepared for endless compliments. And if you don't like talking to people, don't wear our shoes, because you're always going to get a compliment and someone's going to stop you.
Yeah, I mean, just today alone, when we were going to a couple wholesale suit shops and men's shops, that we just got stopped along the way. EJ, tell us a little bit, about your background and how you were able to start this and be able to know hey, I'm going to start a business from scratch and I don't know anything about wholesale. I don't know anything about distribution. How did you come about to knowing this? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in SaaS sales and running organizations and teams for the last 15 years and really combined a passion with an opportunity. And I would just say what I've been able to learn is you can do whatever you want if you just take the next step. I know sometimes it seems insurmountable, kind of get to the end point, but I just know it's a journey. It's not an end destination. And, a couple other things that I learned is you can't do it without great people around you and a great community and people that are rooting for you and that truly care about your success. And if you don't have those people for some reason, they're there. Go look for them in co-working spaces and keep sharing your ideas. And I think there are going to be people that are going to be willing to support you no matter what you do. And, the last thing is I just love our customers and appreciate all that they do and the feedback that they give us, good and bad. We're not perfect. But really just taught me your business is as good as your customer base.
Absolutely. I think what EJ has taught me also too is the attention to detail, how meticulous you are, how you want to treat the customer. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to create an experience around the shoe, not just receiving the shoe. So what he did is he created and crafted the finest paper where Caffaro's gold was all over it. And so when you open the box, you see it's wrapped in beautiful Caffaro paper. And then you also get a handwritten note with a gold seal of Caffaro. And then when you open the shoes and open up the paper, they have these beautiful shoe trees in them. EJ had the attention to detail. So it's you were brought into an experience, not so much you just got the shoe, but the overall customer experiences where it's wow, this is something that I won't forget. I want to be a part of this. I want to buy these shoes again. And I think that's what we got so much feedback on is everybody just loved being a part of the Caffaro experience, the Caffaro Shoes. And we started this huge online presence where everybody just wanted to share their experience, their unboxing, they're just being a part of something that was bigger and better and greater,
Yeah.
So how did you know that customer service is customer is key? Where did you learn that along the way?
I saw how companies scaled and lost a lot of the personality with the brand. And when I saw that, whether no matter what industry you're in, you can probably relate. And so I just committed to saying, listen, things change as you get bigger and you need to consider different things, but as much quality that you can put in the beginning, people are going to see it and recognize it. And I bet on that. We bet on that. And ultimately, I think that's where people just wanted to share. When they received a pair, they just wanted to share that experience with others. And so, yeah, it's the attention to detail is just how we're wired. So
Absolutely.
and one more thing, I wanted the people to smell the factory somehow, right? That's why we put little plastic bags and then the shoe bags on top of it. We were also putting the shoe trees because it kind of brings that aura or the smell of the factory in Spain. And those guys put a lot of work into those shoes too.
No, that's awesome. You're bringing them into the experience, right?
Yeah.
You're helping them be able to relate that they were there. And also another attention to detail is I love the fact that it's like we designed our shoe experience around kind of like Porsche. When you order a Porsche, you're getting every kind of email and update between where the car is being manufactured or the tires being put on, it's in painting. We kind of emulated that in that aspect because we want you to know that you're getting a high-end product. So by putting that in, we let you know that your shoe's in stitching, that your shoe's leather has just been pulled, that your shoe has just been painted, and that your overall experience has just been shipped. And I think a lot of people have reached out to me and says like, man, I love this. I'm okay waiting 3 weeks for a custom shoe so I can be able to be a part of it. I feel like I'm getting updates every few days and be like excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's communication, right? And I think that's just what we all expect from the brands that we love and know so well is how can we feel more connected and just in the know? And I think that's something we've just really leaned into.
All right. And so two more things is I want to know your greatest success with Caffaro Shoes and one of your failures with Caffaro Shoes because we all fell.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd say greatest success is being able to share a passion and a purpose and a story with my brother and with my family. I think I've just seen how my sisters, my parents, my extended family, my cousins, aunts, uncles, and how much they just, that's kind of brought us together in a sense. And so I'd say that's my greatest success up to this point. And I'd say my biggest failure is probably not thinking big enough and going fast enough. I think there was an opportunity when we first launched and to be able to put the resources behind certain aspects of the business, and you just got to keep thinking bigger and go a little bit faster. So that's something that I wish I would have done better.
Awesome. And then I always have a reflective piece towards the end of the podcast and what our listeners can do, or what do you usually do to help you kind of get more grounded, more mindset? Last episode we talked about take a deep breath and figure out the areas that you're lacking, figure out things that need more attention to yourself. Do you have anything that you would be able to give them or what you do to be able to? So the podcast is called the Caffaro Way, and I want people to create their own way. My Caffaro way is different than your Caffaro
Sure.
way. We're different. We're family. We're brothers, but everybody has their own way of life and how they do things. And mine's been completely opposite of yours, but we've also have had great success. So what kind of things that you have that help you create the EJ way or the Caffaro way in your aspect?
Yeah, I would say, and I think you're asking for specific things, but I'll just start with self-care. People are going to see you as you, whether that's your brand or you as an individual. And my question is, how are you taking care of yourself first? It's also hard to do when you're a parent or father, husband, wife, mother, all the above. And we have so many titles in this world that we need to carry. And so generally, I'd just say, make sure you're checking the box for you at some point during the day. I know that looks different for everybody based on circumstance, but something I have to do is, and this is going to sound dumb and this is going to sound super small, but something that's been life-changing is stretching. Every day I'll stretch for 15 to 20 minutes. And I just would say my overall health and well-being for just that one attribute or that one thing that I started 10 years ago. I don't feel old when I'm trying to put on my shoes. That's the most important piece.
Hey, I mean, over the last 33 years, you know how hard it's been for me to put my shoes on and socks.
Yeah.
And I can relate 100% to stretching, because when I walked into the hot yoga room, I've talked about it in a few podcasts before, it changed my life, but I felt very inadequate walking into that room, because as an athlete and as somebody that has been very outgoing, and like, I just felt out of place because I couldn't touch my toes. I couldn't do the moves. I couldn't do the postures. But showing up day in and day out and creating that space, that stretching, has helped my mind calm down, because my mind doesn't stop and it just keeps running. And sometimes I create stories that are not true, that put me in a negative headspace, or I can create new ones. But I've learned that that's why Olympic athletes always visualize their end result, the finish line, because what we visualize will come out and be able to externalize. But I think stretching for me has been a game changer, because I can be able to go on my yoga mat and be able to know that, like, hey, I'm okay for this next hour. I can stretch and be in there. And then if anything arises outside that yoga room, I've stretched, I've breathed, I put myself in a position where I can be okay.
Yeah.
When did you start stretching?
10 years ago.
10. And you beat me. I'm only 2 years deep into yoga.
Yeah. Well, this is stretching, and yoga is a form of that, right?
Yeah.
I don't do yoga.
He does yoga once a year on my birthday.
On his birthday.
That's the only time he'll come.
That's right.
And so, so stretching.
I'd say stretching. And then the other thing I do, I take one day a week to do things different than I would do any other day, and whatever that might look like. So if I love being out in the sun, I love being by the pool. I love I love shopping, obviously. I love retail. So one day a week, I just kind of say, you know what, I'm just going to dedicate this to doing things different and not traditional. And I think that really helps me reset. My day I choose is Sunday, in order just to kind of recalibrate for the week. And I think it helps me have the right mindset for business, and it helps me have the right mindset.
What do you mean by that? That you choose one thing or you change it?
Yeah. So for example,
that's new to me. That's cool.
Every day during
the same.
So Monday through Friday, I'm working. Saturday, I'm still hitting the gym. I work out 6 days a week.
Okay.
Another example is it's on a Saturday, I'm actually doing stuff, working out in the lawn. I'm going to different baseball games for the kids, or different activities, dance, recitals, and whatever those might be. And all those things kind of stop for one day for me, and kind of just pause for a moment and say, what are the things that I can do to reset? So more spiritual things.
Okay.
Attend church, take the time to ponder a little bit longer, meditation, those types of things. Also, I can't promise I don't do this all the time, but I attempt not to work. Not pull up the laptop and not try to respond to emails, but I can organize them and make sure I get to them when I need to. But it's those types of things. And
awesome.
So really just carving that out. And again, I'm not perfect, but really the holistic approach is saying this day is a little bit different than the rest.
Yeah. And there's some new things that you're trying as well too. You recently did a sound bath.
I did.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I was shocked when he did that, because that's my world. Sound baths, breath work, all those kind of things. And I'd love to hear your experience real quick.
I would just say it's not scary. It's very normal, and it's actually a really cool experience. Also, there's different vibrations, as I've come to learn, that in different frequencies that our body responds to, some positively and some in a negative sense. And so as I've learned about sound baths and the power of sound or frequencies, I hopped into a class when I was in Mexico, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's just my body responded really well, and as far as relaxing, calming the mind, and being able to just decompress. And I think that's something we all need every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, if we start off, everything is energy, everything is frequency, and everything emits at a different hertz or a different frequency. And so when you have a different sound bath, it might open up your heart. It might open up your mind. It might open up your stomach or your root chakra. And we talk about chakras and different kind of chakras around the body. There's 7 of them. But when you can go in and to have an emotional experience, sometimes you'll cry, sometimes you'll release emotion, sometimes you'll scream or laugh, and all these different things, that it's a reset to the mind and body. And I feel like we can find different avenues: yoga, sound baths, breath work, stretching, meditation, church, hiking, so many different things that our bodies are called to, instead of the normal day rat race that we get stuck in, and the dopamine hits that we're getting from social media, from Amazon, that we get the same day packages. And so it's like, we need to slow down our lives. I mean, think about it. Back then, when you're doing business in the 60s and 50s, you leave the office, no one has your home phone number.
That's done. You're done. You check out.
There's no emails, there's nothing. And so then pagers came to be, and then cell phones, and then smartphones. And then we're so equipped 24/7 that we're plugged in, that we need to learn how to unplug. It's so important.
Yeah, I think there's value in both, because so we look at today's world, and I wouldn't been, I can start a business from my phone and run a couple $1 million business, which is crazy, which just blows my mind. There's a lot of power to that, and also being able to work remote, right? Like you don't have to go into an office for some instances or for some professions as much, and there's tons of value in that. So you get the time back that you would normally spend with doing activities that are important to you. And so I would just say, but on the flip side is, I don't think we've been trained, and I don't think we do really well at just unplugging. And that's where I don't think, boundaries, I think that's where boundaries come into play. And then I wish I could say I left my phone off the whole day. Maybe that's something I can do, right? On my day that I do things a little bit differently, is I just turn my phone off and leave it there and be okay with it.
Man, if you turned your phone off, it would be insane. There was one day I grabbed his phone. I was like, dude, you have 300 unread messages. What are you doing? He's like, I can't get to everybody. I was like, well, I'm glad I'm one of them that you can get to, because that's unbelievable.
Always.
But I appreciate the time, man. I know it's really hard to get you to do these kind of things, because this is not your forte. You're the behind the scenes guy. You make it work. You create these operations, and you've given me product to be able to go out and market to the world, Caffaro Shoes. And I think it's been such a blast, and it's so much more fun to do it with someone you're close with your brother, someone you love, and be able to bounce back and forth. And we've had our differences. We all do as brothers. But I think as I've matured emotionally, it's bringing us together closer, and be able to understand that we just want to have fun and be able to do that. And I think everybody needs to realize, like, life's supposed to be fun. Life's meant to have joy. We're supposed to be excited for each other. There's so much of the pie out there that everybody can be able to lift each other up and be able to just have fun. And I think that's where we're at in our lives right now, is ready to just move forward and have fun and experience things in a different capacity. So,
yeah.
Any last words?
I mean, if we didn't have our differences, I'd be worried, right? What I do know is they always come from a great place, from both of us. And that's what I like. So
appreciate it.
I'm ready to have fun.
So thank you for listening. This is the Caffaro Way. I'm Johnny Caffaro. That was EJ Caffaro. Next time we'll be talking about different things that we have, the pains that we go through, the pains that help us shape us and help mold us into different ways and different capacities. Thanks for listening. Until next time, thanks so much.